Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachahari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Nrsimha Kunja Vihari Jaya Nrsimha Kunja Vihari Gopi Janabalava Dirivanadani Gopi Janabalava Dirivanadani All right, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All right, ready for the book prayer? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Let's do this together. Knock it out. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Devotanam Devyam Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Yudhirit Nashta Pravesha Bhaktrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of Twankras, which offers respectful obeisances of the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Dev, the author, and
Srila Prabhupada, the translator and commentator.
by regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and love and service of the personality of Godhead, whose praise and transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Yeah, and probably by rendering service to Krishna house too. Just throwing that out there. Okay, let's see. I got my idiot sheet here. Thanks to all right, Presence. She wrote up a nice structure for the class. She's going to do a Bhagavatam class for idiots book next. That'd be great. Yeah, I know. Okay, so we are reading today 19 through 30. That sound right? Get some readers, boy, girl, boy, girl. Wait a second. Hang on. Okay, I'd like to just, we'll do some context. Who's speaking about who's speaking, right? So we have two sages discussing a conversation between two elevated spiritual teachers. So can you pull up a picture of, Sukadeva Goswami speaking with Maharaj Parikshit? There's a nice illustration. I feel like sometimes for me, it's just easier to see the illustration. But there are really nice illustrations of both of these conversations. So where we're at right now, and a lot of the times what we're reading, there's this initial conversation going on, and with one sage, he's got 7 days left to live, and he seeks advice from another sage, and then a group of sages form, and here is when the Bhagavatam is spoken. So this is where we're at right now. And what they're speaking about and what we've been talking about is a conversation between two elevated teachers, Lord Brahma and Narada Muni. So you can pull them up, and you can see they're going to have they're speaking about what they were speaking about. So like sometimes if you've ever seen some old movies or whatever, like the grandma's reading a bedtime story to the kids and then they go into the story after, that's like what this, and then you forget about that it was narrated the whole time and they're like, but grandma, what about, and then they brings you back. That's kind of like, that's the best way I can simplify it. So here's the conversation between Lord Brahma, who they call the original guru, because Narada Muni took him on as his guru or his teacher. And Narada Muni taught many, many other people, including Prahlad there, who's with Nrsimha in that painting, and we sing about the glories every morning. That's his teacher. So here you go. It's the beginning of the cyclic succession. Teachers, 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 teachers. So far we talked about essentially like how Lord Brahma, the creation story. Kind of anytime we talk about how the world was created or the universe was created or thereof, it's due to Lord Brahma. And we had a very, very in-depth, I like to call this Genesis 2.0. And I'm working on a theory that Genesis ripped right out of this. You know, you want to talk about that later, we can sit down, man, because I'm getting real close to this being the Lord of the Old Testament, Lord Brahma. Anyway, so now he's going to be speaking about when Lord Vishnu revealed himself. He had a meeting with him. And Lord Vishnu revealed himself to Lord Brahma. Can you pull up a picture of Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma and maybe them together? So he's telling the story about when he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the origin of all things, where the creator of everything came from. So you have the creator of the universe, and then you have the origin in which he came from. Does this sound pretty right to everybody? So that's where we're starting at right now. Just this chapter is pretty simple. This is a good place to restart this chapter. And so far, most of this has kind of been like that. So there you go. There's Lord Brahma. And this is when he gets to see Lord Vishnu. And last class, he described what he saw with Lord Vishnu. And so we're just moving forward from there. Okay. And you could keep, 19 to 30. Let's have it.
Being Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and slightly smiling addressed him thus.
Wait a second. When I read this, I thought it was so funny because I was thinking, like, okay, Brahma and Vishnu shake hands, but they all have multiple hands. So maybe they were like, okay, that was just.
The beautiful personality God had addressed Lord Brahma. O Brahma, impregnated with the Vedas, I'm very much pleased with your long accumulated penance with the desire for creation. Hardly am I pleased with the pseudo mystics.
I wish you good luck, O Brahma. May you ask from me, the giver of all benediction, all which you may desire. You may know that the ultimate benediction, as the result of all penances, is me by realization.
The highest perfectional ingenuity is the personal perception of my abodes, and this has been possible because of your submissive attitude and the performance of severe penance according to my order.
O sinless Brahma, you may know from me that it was I who first ordered you to undergo penance when you were perplexed in your duty. Such penance is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are none different.
I create this cosmos by such penance, I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potency is penance only.
Lord Brahma said, O personality of Godhead, you are seated in every living entity's heart. As the supreme director, therefore you are aware of all endeavors by your superior intelligence without any hindrance whatsoever.
In spite of that, my lord, I am praying to you to kindly fulfill my desire. May I please be informed how, in spite of your transcendental form, you assume the mundane form, although you have no such form at all.
And please inform me how you, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance, and maintenance by combination and permutation.
O master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible.
Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned. O Lord, the unborn, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend as if equal in position. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living. I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no reservation. I pray that all this may not give rise to pride. I would. All right. Yeah, so he's asking him to teach him. Brahma's asking Lord Vishnu to teach him the how to generate living entities. He's asking him how to create. And he wants to be able to do these things without falling off of his pivot, like without getting into a mindset of distraction or thinking, like he said very humbly, I want to be able to do this and I'm confident that I can do this, but I don't ever want to think that I'm better than you while I'm doing this. That's, he's asking for this like skill basically, and he's saying he wants to be in the right mindset to do it, and he's also making a commitment that he will stay humble while achieving that. Okay, so let's do 30. Right? Yeah. All right, Sanskrit here. I'm gonna butcher this real quick. It's the longer meter. Okay. Yavat saka sakiveshati kita. Praja Vishkri Vibhajami Bojamam. Avikalasati Prakaru Manisitito. Mame Samundanana Madoja Manana. All right. Anybody want to? Pradeep, you're up. Praja Vijay Vijito Vajam. Avikalas te parikamas silo. Mame Samananda Madhujamana. Pratsayake Vajababo Chaman. Aviklashte Prakatamasito. Mame Samadana Madho Chamina. Yaya Tasaka Giveshatika. Praja Vikshai Vicham Janam. Viklashte Prakatarma Shito. Mame Samudana Madho Jamanya. Saka Veshate Kata. Anybody else? All right, let's do the word for word. And let's make sure to, we're going to look into Sakua unto a friend after we do it. Make sure to pay attention to that. I think you can click on it, can't you? Okay, once we go through it, then we're going to look at that one. Yavat as it is, Saka friend, Saku unto friend, Eva like that, Isha O Lord, Te you, Krita have accepted, Saja Visarje in the matter of creation. Jami as I shall be different. Oh my Lord, Jama, those who are born. Avikala without being perturbed. Te Yor, Kami, the matter of service. Shika, the situated. Ma may it never me unto thee. Sammananda, resulting rise. Mala madness, Aja, a born one. Manya, thus being God. All right, let's do the translation together. Oh, my Lord, the unborn, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend, as if equal in position. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no turbation, but I shall of this man not give rise to pride, as if I were the supreme. Okay, yeah, so he's saying he's actually like acknowledging that the origin of all things, the supreme Lord, has kind of come down to his level and treated him with friendship when he's approaching him, or when he's first, and he's also revealing to him like a higher version of himself. That's what we read last. And he's like, hey buddy, don't worry, I got you. And they're shaking hands, you know. So go up. He's saying he's his friend. And yeah, that's that word Sakya, unto the friend. Yeah, click on it. Click on the, and it could go to some different definitions. Yeah, so all throughout the Bhagavatam, it's translated a bunch of different times. With a friend, of his friend, unto a friend. I just realized you could do that when I was looking it up. So this is going to be important because Srila Prabhupada is going to touch on this in the purport about this dynamic, particularly that we can have that too with the Lord. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. If you ever want to go in depth on any of these words, it brings them all up. But yeah, so he's saying, thanks for being a friend, Lord Vishnu. All right, so let's get a reader for the purport. Go ahead.
There you go. Lord Brahman is definitely situated in the humor of friendship with the Lord. Every living being is eternally related with the personality of Godhead in one of 5 different transcendental humors, namely Sanatan, Santa, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. We have already discussed these 5 kinds of humors in relationship with the personality of God. It is clearly exhibited herein that Lord Brahma is related to the personality of Godhead in the transcendental humor of friendship. Pure devotee may be related with the Lord in any one of the transcendental humors, even in the humor of parenthood. But the devotee of the Lord is always a transcendental servitor. No one is equal to or greater than the Lord. That is the version of the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmaji, although eternally related with the Lord in the transcendental humor of friendship, and although entrusted with the most exalted post of creating different grades of living entities, it is still conscious of his position, that he is neither the Supreme Lord nor supremely powerful. It is possible that some extremely powerful personality, within or without the universe, may sometimes show more power than the Lord himself. Still, the pure devotee knows that this power is a vibhuti, delegated by the Lord, and such a delegated, powerful living entity is never independent. Sri Hanumanji crossed the Indian Ocean by jumping over the sea, and Lord Sri Ramachandra engaged himself in marching over the bridge. But this does not mean that Hanumanji was more powerful than the Lord.
Sri Hanuman Ki.
Sometimes the Lord gives extraordinary powers to his devotee, but the devotee knows always that the power belongs to the personality of Godhead, and that the devotee is only an instrument. The pure devotee is never puffed up like the non-devotee class of men, who falsely think that they are God. It is astonishing to see how a person who is being kicked by the laws of the Lord's illusion illusory energy. At every step can falsely think of becoming one with the Lord. Such thinking is the last snare of illusory energy offered to the conditioned soul. This first illusion is that he wants to become the Lord of the material world by accumulating wealth and power. But when he is frustrated in that attempt, he wants to become one with the Lord. So both becoming the most powerful man in the material world and desiring to become one with the Lord are different illusory snares. And because the pure devotee of the Lord are surrendered souls, they are above the illusory snares of mind. Because Lord Brahma is a pure devotee, even though the first denominating deity, material world, therefore able to do many wonderful things, he would never, like the non-devotee with a poor fund of knowledge, have the audacity to think of becoming one with the Lord. People with a poor fund of knowledge should take lessons from Brahma when they are puffed up with the false notion of becoming God.
Tell them, Prabhupada. Does somebody else want to read the rest of it?
Actually, Lord Brahma does not create the living entities. In the beginning of the creation, he is empowered to give different bodily shapes to living entities according to their work during the last millennium. Brahmaji's duty is to wake the living entities from their slumber and to engage them in the proper duty. The different grades of living entities are not created by Brahmaji by his capricious whims, but he is entrusted with the task of giving the living entities different grades of body so that they can work accordingly. And still, he is conscious that he is only instrumental so that he may not think himself as the supreme powerful Lord. Devotees of the Lord are engaged in the specific duty offered by the Lord, and such duties are successfully carried out without hindrance because they are ordained by the Lord. Credit of success goes not to the doer, the Lord. But persons with a poor fund of knowledge take the credit of the success into their own accounts and give nothing to the credit of the Lord. That is the symptom of the non-devotee class of men.
All right, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Yeah, I'm so glad I got this purport. I just love this concept of giving all the glory to God. And I know so many of us have so many gifts and talents and abilities, and maybe we're smart and strong and good athletes and good academically and born with wealth, or have other navigating abilities in life, but ultimately we're not the origin of where those things come from. We're gifted them. That's why they're called gifts. And this is the highest example of the origin of all things, giving the gift to the creator of how to create. And he's saying, I'm going to make sure that I always remember where I got this gift from while I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it in the right mindset. So he's giving all the glory to God. I was thinking, I'm glad Anthony's here. I was thinking about a lot of MMA. Are you paying attention? Oh, man. I was thinking about a lot of mixed martial arts fighters or boxers or whatever, like when they'll win a championship or a big fight or whatever, and they get the post-fight interview, and they're like, I just want to give all the glory to God, and then my team and my trainer, and, they're passing along all the credit they know. But even though they're the ones that woke up at 4 a.m. every morning, were disciplined enough to eat correctly, went into the gym whether they felt like it or not, got their butts kicked, made austerity sacrifices, in their life in order to train full time and not get paid anything, basically, so that they could win some dinky MMA fight at a arena, at a local arena, and I just want to give all the glory to God, because they know, there's some people that have that. That's what Srila Prabhupada's saying. There's type of mentality that says, I know where it all came from. And then there's some people that say, well, you know what? I'm going to try to be like God because I know I have these abilities. And a lot of those people, they don't really even have a good, they said those with a poor fund of knowledge. So there's people that may not even have a good concept of what God is. Maybe it's based off, things they were brought up around in their past, or their parents kind of brought them up around, and it's just kind of mild and not really examined, or they're uninterested. So they're just kind of like, well, I'm not really interested in religion. And they just kind of, box it up and put it on a shelf. And they're like, I heard like somebody say, yeah, religion's for poor people or whatever. So they devalue it, and they're like, well, you know what? But you know what? I have money and wealth and beauty and strength and intelligence. I'm empowered, and I'm going to use these things to create a life that I want to enjoy. And that's it. I don't know anything else. I really don't want to know anything else. That's called my body philosophy. That's somebody that, have you heard that? We're all gods and goddesses. We're just all gods and goddesses. Kind of. Kind of. Because we have those abilities. We have the ability to create, and we have the ability to grow, but it doesn't come from us. And that, I guess you could say, spiritual entity inside of us that somebody would call themselves a god, that's the jiva. That's the jiva soul. So he's in there, but so is the Lord. And they have a relationship together, and that's what this is all about. So you're just missing a part. You're missing a very, very integral part of growing spiritually, and that's called humility. So can you pull up type in type in Philippians tattoo MMA fighter. This is and we're gonna look up what this, one of my favorite Bible verses. A lot of these mixed martial arts is a very, very common tattoo. They'll get Philippians 14:3 tattooed on them. It's just this like constant reminder that all of my power comes from the Lord. Everything that I'm sacrificing comes through it. Yeah, just see if you can find that. Does anybody have anything they want to share so far? Yeah, there you go. Philippians 4:13. He's training hard. And that's the only tattoo he has on him, just so he looks in the mirror and he remembers. Okay, pull up Philippians 4:13, what it is in the old King James version. This is a good one. But yeah, go ahead, Naratana.
Well, it's just to this point, you were saying like, to see that all of our gifts, like all of our abilities from Krishna. And it reminds me of when I was a student of the Gurukul, the Bhaktivedanta Academy. Every morning we would say this like mantra, I guess, together. Like, I'm a student of Bhaktivedanta Academy, I do the best of my ability, and etc. But then there was this one part that really stuck with me. All of my talents are given to me as gifts from Krishna. So I act with respect, integrity, gratitude, something else. And but like it was like we said it every morning to remind ourselves so we don't, it avoided many things. Like, I mean, that humility we imbibed, but also like it avoided a lot of like interpersonal conflict and stuff because we're like, not jealous of each other or like trying not to,
Yeah, that's great. Daily reminder. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me. Everything's done through the Lord. It does, yeah, not that we wake up every morning and we just grind with all our will and our might to accomplish whatever we got to do to get through this harsh, conditioned world. I don't care who I step on to get there. Got to push out the way or whatever, But yeah, waking up every morning with that gratitude that like I have some things that, I can be grateful for, and they're not from me, and give all the glory to God. So Srila Prabhupada, anybody else have anything on this point? No. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Hanumanji hopping the ocean to Lanka. And I thought that was great. Also, Srila Prabhupada, he kind of did a big ocean hop over here to the US. He's like empowered by Hanuman to make that great mystical journey. I was thinking about that, and yeah, also like meditating on Hanuman. If you want to pull up a picture of him, he is many positive things that we can model after. He's like the ultimate brahmachari role model. And I definitely suggest we all study him more and more. I think he's probably one of the most amazing and inspirational characters that ever shows up. And apparently, I was, doing a little diving into him besides a couple of things I had looked into before. But he's like all throughout lots and lots of different theologies. Like he shows up in Jainism and Tibetan mythology and on and on there. Yeah, so Hanuman was devotee of Lord Ram. He had kind of bestowed like an immaculate conception. His mother was praying to Lord Shiva for a child. She kind of like comes through a demigod family as well, so she was already kind of mystical quite a bit. Anjana is his mother's name. Actually, pull a baby Hanuman because he's got such a cool origin story. Also, there's also many different tales and versions of his origins and also what he did. So you just have to look into it. I wish Srila Prabhupada would have done the Mahabharata. That would have been sick. Anyway, personal thought. So, yeah, so his mother, she's praying to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva knows that he, at some point, Lord Ram's going to have to go through this epic and save Sita. And so he wants to come in to be able to help, and he creates an expansion and is taken birth as Lord Hanuman through some different ways. There's like some mystical mango prasadam that dropped down at one time, and his mom like caught it and ate it, and that impregnated her. And his father, who's the demigod of the wind, like blew into her ear, and then she carried him after that. And I think demigod births, they come like almost pretty quick and right away. So here he is, baby Hanuman, bestowed a magical birth. And one of the first pastimes with him is where he, so also he was given a lot of mystic potencies, and he had the ability to jump really high and grow really tall, and not to be unstoppable in any place. And one time he wanted to take a big bite out of the sun. So he thought it was a big mango or something. So he starts shooting up towards the sun, and Indra's like seeing him and wanted to stop him because I guess it was gonna like mess up his celestial order or something. So he hits him with a lightning bolt, and it hits him in the jaw, and he falls down like to his peril. And then he was revived though by Indra, or he was revived by Shiva, and that's where he got the name Hanuman, because it means one with injured jaw, dislocated jaw. So after that, he was enlisted into the army that helped Ram save Sita. He was a general. and they were trying to build a bridge to Lanka, and that's what Srila Prabhupada was talking about at some point. They were unable to cross it, and Hanumanji, he was part of one of the scouts. They had different scout missions, and he just said, all right, I'm just gonna jump it. And so he went over to Lanka, where Sita was captured by the demon Ravana, and he found her and told her, yeah, Lord Ram's looking for you, and that re-empowered her. But she said, I'm not going to go back with you. I'm going to wait till he comes. And so Hanuman got captured. He probably let himself get captured, and he told Ravana, like, you don't know who you're messing with. Lord Ram's going to come and he's going to destroy you and your armies. And so they set his tail on fire. And then he just ran around and burned down all the village. And yeah, he flew back. And then the other part was once they got into that's another highlight. And then one of the other big highlights with him is when they finally were having the battle. Lakshman and Ram, they were having a great battle in Lanka with Lord Ravana's army, and Lakshman got injured by a poison arrow. And they were saying, like, yeah, this can only be cured by some mystical herbs in the Himalayas. And Hanuman's like, all right, I'm going to go find them, So he flew to the Himalayas and he's looking at one of the mountains trying to figure out where all these herbs are, or which one it is. And he couldn't decide. So he just picked up the whole mountain and he brought it back to the battlefield, and they just kind of figured it out from there. Can you find that? But yeah, ultimately, even towards the end of this this whole epic rescue, he's by Lord Ram, given the opportunity to have gifts or bestowing some benedictions on him, and he just says, I just want to serve you, and I want you to always be in my heart. And that's it. Yeah, there he is, picking up the Himalayas and bringing it back to the battlefield. So with all this immaculate, mystical strength and agility, he's just using it in the service of the Lord directly, taking no credit from it. And yeah, so we can learn from him. He's a model brahmachari. He's completely knowledgeable in all the Vedas. Apparently, he's very studious, and his dedication to Lord Ram is a example of how we should be dedicated to our teachers and be ready to serve them in any way possible, even to the point where it annoys other people. So anyway, yeah, does anybody have anything to add with that? Yeah. Yeah, he's the original superhero. For sure. He's the Hanuman.
Hanuman. Yeah, Marvel. Hanuman.
Actually, okay, pull it up. Here it is. Pull it up, the Ramayana cartoon. Everybody who thought there'll be a little trailer, but we'll just finish it with this trailer. Everybody's so impressed with all these Jiffy AI cartoons. I was not, because I'm waiting to see like an entire film production movie of these. They just look like little shots of a movie to me. But they actually in the 90s, in 94, it was both Japan and the ambassador of India came up with a full-length Ramayana cartoon. Yeah, pull up a trailer. We'll watch like a 2-minute one on it. This is so good. I grew up watching this with my devotee family, and I am willing to sponsor this if Shruti's okay with it, and we can watch it one Saturday. It's for free. I thought you had to pay for it sometimes. But it's also pretty bona fide too. They don't go off story too much, you know. So yeah. Did you find something? Did you find a trailer? Yeah. Give it a go. Lord willing. Yeah, yeah. Go for it. Oh yeah. Oh. The Diane! Oh yeah. It's so good. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay. There's my plug. Okay. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to share or realizations? Yeah. But it's a combination. Like the ambassador in India got together with like major Japanimation creators. It's a fusion. It's a fusion. Yeah. Yeah. It's in English. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So they're making a real movie with Ramayana with all the real characters. So it's one of the India's biggest budget movie. They started and Hans Zimmerman is the music and A.R. Rahman is the music of this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so it will be the highest budget movie ever done by India.
Wonderful. We got a lot of movies. They got the Nrsimha Day movie came out. Everybody's excited about that. All right.
So early in the class, you were talking about like martial arts, and you were talking about how, Lord Brahma was asking to be able to be a creator being without, without being like, oh, but I'm God. And I was just thinking about how sometimes in martial arts, the tradition is like, the idea is to surpass the master, right? So to become greater than what the master was. And I was just curious if you could comment on how that works in this whole, in the Christian conscious world.
Yeah, that's interesting. I honestly haven't seen that too much. I feel like a good example would be like the Gracie lineage, and they're always honoring the origin of where it came from. Specifically, I think the difference is going to be physical progress. That's kind of what can always be taken to the next notch. But so the difference in practices of yoga and martial arts are physical and spiritual. So of course, yeah, physical boundaries, like we're always trying to push them as far as possible. So in jujitsu, they will be able to at some point, surpass how many you can measure that, like how many medals have been had, and that this person is gotten to this weight class and conquered, and then it'll just keep going and going. But they all still very, very much honor that the Gracie lineage is the most superior branch. And sometimes even in martial arts, it's similar that there's like a divine self-realization first, and then it's taught on and passed as well. Do you have anything to say about that, Anthony?
So, like, there's always a debate, like, who's the GOAT, and it's hard to say because they're fighting different people. And in jujitsu, the highest you can go is a black belt, but they will award you a red belt if you add something to the culture and jujitsu as a whole. So it's not about like who's the best fighter, because it's hard to speculate if Mike Tyson would beat this guy from a different time period. But it's about what you add to jujitsu as a whole. So like, what did you do for the culture? So I guess in Bhakti, it's like the guru is training his student to be a guru, and they're both going to be at the same level, but it's not about who's the better fighter. It's like who's adding to the sport itself. So like, what did you give to Bhakti, or what did you give to ISKCON, I think would be the transfer. Like, we're both great fighters, but
Yeah.
it's not about us anymore. It's about what we're doing for the entity.
One more personal thought on that. Like you said, who's the GOAT? The big, out of all these arguments here, the number one example I can think of is Michael Jordan. Does everybody know who Michael Jordan is from the Chicago Bulls? They call him the Black Jesus of basketball. Actually, he said, anyway, there's a story he told Reggie Miller. That's why you don't mess with Black Jesus. And so he got that, he was known that name. But there's so many people that think, well, if I played basketball against Michael Jordan, he would win, or the times change, they don't play the same way or whatever. But the bottom line is that when he came, he completely changed basketball. And that still to this day, nobody has been able to achieve what he accomplished, even though here's what happened physically. Basketball players progress too. They're bigger now. Have you all noticed people are getting bigger at just genetics or genetic engineering and food and different types of training? So yeah, we're always going to try to progress and evolve, but it's so important to give credit where it's due to the OGs. So in this case, Lord Vishnu is the ultimate OG, original God, yeah. Original guru. Okay, anybody else? All right, yeah, go ahead.
For class, I found it very easy to follow and like understand. So thank you. I really like classes like that.
That was my goal. Thank you. I hope everybody liked it.
Yeah, and so touching on Hanuman, speaking about his exalted personality and his surrender to Lord Ram. So like I find it hard. I don't know if others find it hard to just kind of, you hear like trust Krishna, trust Krishna's plan, or like, having that trust and faith in Guru like just fully is kind of hard to muster sometimes. So what's your advice for that, like building like loyalty to the Guru and like trust in Krishna and his plan for us and those kind of things?
Building trust in relationships takes time. I learned a lot since I've been at Krishna House. Really, you spend a whole calendar year with somebody is when you'll really start to get to see, where you guys are at with your relationship. But even just starting, not just with the spiritual master, but the bhaktas here, I noticed that you really don't know how you serve with somebody, or how much level of friendship you guys have, or how much in common, or how much you can trust them to carry what they're supposed to be carrying, until y'all go on trips together and travel together. So that just takes time. I remember when one bhakta came, and they were like, yeah, I hope, they're having a hard time connecting with the guys or whatever. And I was like, just wait until we go on a trip. and we'll really, we'll click then. Don't worry. And then we all went to Tampa together one time. I took some boys out there. We went on a special preaching mission. Man, it's just when we come back, like, man, what's up? This takes time. And the same thing as far as, yeah, for teachers. My first experience of having kind of like a guru was with a martial arts teacher. And at first, I did not trust him. I thought, I was like, you're wrestling with other guys. It's kind of gay. That was really my first thought, and it took some time. And I was like, no, I don't want to do wrestling. Can you show me some yoga or something? And then, yeah, he like just knew. The master knows how to approach the student where they're at. So some of that isn't even on you, it's just having the right teacher. And I personally believe that having the right teacher is a bestowed blessing. It's not really something that you can create for yourself. You have to seek. You have to seek it out. And when you're ready, he'll appear. It's like such an old saying, but when the student's ready, the master will appear. And then when he appears, it takes some time to cultivate that relationship. It's not right away. You may even know who that person is, and it hasn't been revealed to you through, signs or realizations yet that that's who's supposed to guide you in this particular part of your life. And as far as what we're doing here and with the spiritual master is guiding you in bhakti, does that help? Okay.
Dude, that's a fantastic class. Good flow.
Thanks, man.
I enjoy everything about it. And I was just thinking a lot about like the when they win the fight, their speech. And a lot of the time they'll like think they're enemies, where it's just like, or they'll think they're partners. And I think that transfers well in bhakti, because without the opposition, you don't have a chance to grow. And I think Epictetus said it was like, I wouldn't be able to display my greatness unless I had this like adversity. So anytime something comes to you, it is an opportunity for you to grow. So if you lose a round or you lose the fight, that's where all like the juicy growth is. And I've been really struggling with that, like accepting that as grace. Would you say anything about like mindset or how to develop a mindset to approach obstacles in a way that like, oh, this is grace, or this person's trying to teach me something, like this is an opportunity? What do you do when you're faced with opposition?
So recently, and I'll even say since recently being in Krishna house, for me, it's like being consistent in sadhana and practice and routine, and realizing some days are harder than others. But even though it'll be like this was a really joyous day full of like celebration, and people were even like saying how much they're proud of me and I'm doing a good job. And then this next day, or season, I feel like I'm not, owning up to my full potential and I'm falling short. And maybe I can see that I could do better. And I can even see in other people that they feel like I could be doing better than I am right now, too. But the main thing that stays constant is like waking up and doing japa every morning. And then life's going to fluctuate. And I think practicing steadiness through sadhana will help you to realize that the moments will come, you address them as needed, and then they'll pass, they'll come again. So, does that help? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Govinde Nama